Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy you're joining me again today for another YouTube video. Today I am back on the Jane's Doodles blog with this gorgeous magical card, and I'm going to talk a little bit about being creative with your depth and dimension in your card. So I am using an image from the Jane's Doodles magical stamp set. I am using the castle, and I'm going to make it an air castle, a castle in the sky, and I'm stamping that in Memento Tuxedo Black ink onto Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock. That way I can color it with my alcohol markers. I did leave the stamp in my Misti, you know I do this. I like to add embossing powder to my alcohol marker colored images. I like a glossy black outline, but alcohol markers and embossing powder don't mix, so you don't want to emboss before you color with alcohol markers. It will dissolve the embossing powder and it might ruin the nibs on your markers. But if you have a stamping tool like the Misti, you can easily stamp it again after coloring with a pigment ink or Versamark ink, any ink that will let you add embossing powder, and that solves the problem. It takes 2 minutes extra, and I think it's definitely worth it. So the coloring on this castle is really simple. I just colored everything in gray, and then I did keep it a little bit light because I want this card to look light and airy. And I'm going to add some pink at the tops of the towers, and I just colored in those individual bricks with some browns, different shades of brown. I also used very dark gray in some areas, just to get a little bit of variation in there. There you saw me stamping it again in Versafine Onyx Black, and this way I can emboss it with clear gloss superfine embossing powder by Wow. I'm just going to heat set that with the Wow Jewel Speed Heat tool, and then I'm going to fussy cut this out. A really simple image, so I am going to add another focal point, and this is the one of the happy rainbows from the My Favorite Things die set. They come in 3 sizes. I used the largest one today, and I die cut them out of different shades of Concord and 9th cardstock. They have great colored cardstock. I recently got it from Seize the Stamp, and I am so happy with it. This is me figuring out the layout of this card. So I knew I wanted 2 borders of clouds, and I did want to cut it out of my front panel. So I did die cut this with the blanket stitched rectangles by Pink Fresh Studio, and then I die cut that border die, the border cloud die. I forgot what the die set is called, but I'll look it up and list it in the description. And I just die cut it twice to create an opening or a gap in that panel. I also die cut it twice out of silver glitter cardstock, and I'm just adhering that to the back of those panels to get a little bit of a silver lining behind the clouds. Now, behind those white clouds, I am going to add that really gorgeous mint colored cardstock, which is not from Concord and 9th, but they do have a similar color. Sea glass, I think, would work. This is something that I still had in my sesh. I'm stamping my sentiment on the panel before I am adhering everything together, which is a first for me. Usually I don't remember adding a sentiment or before I put everything together, but finally remembered it. I added that with Versafine Onyx Black and embossed it as well with the clear gloss superfine embossing powder, and then I can adhere everything together. So I'm just gluing that blue panel or that minty panel on top of my card base. I'm never really precise with cutting my card bases to size, so I usually have to trim a little bit off. And then I'm adding foam tape to the cloud panels to put them on my card. So the teal cardstock or the mint cardstock is going to already look further away. It's going to create a shadow box effect a little bit a very, very basic shadow box effect. And then I can add the rainbow. Now for the rainbow, I'm making sure that it's behind the clouds on the bottom, but above the clouds at the top. So it looks like there's a dimensional difference between the clouds at the top and the clouds at the bottom. This rainbow is stacked. I stacked 3 layers of thick white cardstock together and then adhered the colored cardstock on top. So it is dimensional, but it's still behind the first layer of clouds. So it creates another layer of dimension between the teal sky and the white clouds at the bottom. Now here you can see I could adhere that castle behind the clouds as well, but instead I'm going to adhere it in front of the clouds to create more depth and make it appear as if the castle is closer than the rainbow. It's just play around with your dimensions, adhere things outside a frame, which is basically what I'm doing here. If you consider the clouds the frame here, the rainbow is going out on the top and the castle is going out at the bottom. It just creates a lot of movement in your card as well. I'm adding some glitter with the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to the rainbow arches. I love doing this. It doesn't look like much on camera, but believe me, the shimmer on this pen is pretty remarkable. It does rub off if you actually rub over it, but who does that anyway? It does rub off, so it's not a magical pen. The glitter tends to rub off if you actually rub over it, but I think it looks amazing, and I don't think anyone is actually going to rub over the rainbow here. I added a couple of details, like sparkly details with a white gel pen, but I didn't think that was enough sparkle, so I'm adding in a couple of really, really tiny holographic nail art gems. If you're looking for super tiny embellishments for your cards, which I love to use personally, you should look into nail art gems because they go a lot smaller than card making gems. You can find them on Amazon. I got this for 8 euros, I think. I have a holographic set and I have a silver-backed clear set. It's really, really fun. Just a touch of sparkle on this little, really... It's such a magical card. I really like how this turned out. I love the rainbow. I love the little castle from Jane's Doodles. And that sentiment at the bottom is just magical. I hope you like this card. I hope you like the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. I will also leave a playlist linked on top of this video, probably some alcohol marker coloring, because I didn't really go into depth and detail here, but you can see some more coloring in the videos linked on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.